What is going on, RuneScape.com? It's your boy, John McGarrett, here with another tier list. This one's going to be a little bit more abstract. The topic today is going to be this is a list of activities that will increase the skill ceiling of yourself as a RuneScape player, or another way to say that is it will make your potential to become the best RuneScape player a lot better. So I mean, like, it'll raise the floor and the skilling of your RuneScape play. It'll help this is kind of like, this also branches with like self-help. It'll make everything you do better. This is the list of the most effective things, the most consequential things that I can do to improve my performance across the board. So that's kind of where I'm going today. In today's video, I'm going for 100 tier lists, so they're all going to be a little bit, some of them are going to be reaching, like, in terms of like how does this relate to RuneScape, so I understand that. But before we hop into it, though, if I could ask you to give me an HBO special, help a brother out, and hit that subscribe button, like button. I heard that from another channel. I thought it was really funny. Shout out Poor Man's Podcast. But anyway, and then check out the links down below, check out my products, whatever. Just want to get that out of the way. So now that that's out of the way, let's hop right into the list. Again, okay, so the first one we got here is creatine. And creatine before used to be like a B tier to me, just for a weightlifting or whatever, but I know a lot of people don't weightlift. But a bunch of data has come out that creatine is like, there's now scientific data that shows that creatine improves cognitive function. So to get the cognitive effect of creatine, you need to pretty much load all the time. But they have found that like 0.35, I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, 0.35, let me hit that flub in there, make it look cleaner, sorry, hit 0.35 grams per pound that you weigh or something like that. So for me, it's just 30 grams a day. I can safely take for 5 years and it will be safe for my kidneys. And I can testify that I've been doing it for a couple weeks now, and I don't know if anybody's ever done creatine before, but if you go through the loading phase, it kind of like, you feel it change your body. You for me at least, I feel like a lot more jacked, a lot more pumped up, because like when I worked last time I loaded, I worked at this different factory. I would come home for lunch, I would drink some eggs, and then put some creatine in like 10-15 during the loading phase, and I'd go back to work and I'd just be souped up, like I just drank a bunch of coffee but I didn't have it, something like that, you know what I'm saying? But I can testify that like from doing 30 grams the last 2 weeks, it has blew me up like a balloon. I gained like 5 to 7 pounds in water weight or something like that, so I'm all bloated and stuff like that. So I mean, that's what it does. It makes you retain water and a bunch of other stuff. But creatine, for those who don't know, is a supplement for lifting weights. It helps you with muscle recovery, strength, and stuff like that. It just makes you a better athlete, essentially. And there's a lot of data surrounding how it's really good for you. And a lot of people before would take like maintenance scoops. They take like 3 to 5 grams a day after loading to load up the muscles, whatever. But now the data came out that you need a lot more. You need to load essentially forever for you to get the cognitive benefits for the creatine to get up there and increase your brain function. But I can, maybe I didn't say this, but I can testify that it is making me more stress tolerant. It's making me more aware, more alert, more just chill, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's elevated me. Like, I can say that it does do that definitively, that it does do that. It has a positive effect. Now there's some side effects that come with it depending on who you are and stuff like that, but just adjust how much you take or whatever. If you have like negative side effects, like you shit your brains out or something like that. But creatine is a big one. It's not like a it's just good all around. Like, caffeine can help you, but like caffeine kind of like, I don't want to jump into that because that's a whole nother conversation. Caffeine's like pros and cons and stuff like that, but that would be a completely different other conversation. I have to get the list done. So, well, if you guys want to hear about that, I'll talk about that shit all day or whatever. But anyway, so we have intermittent fasting / and I will put diet here as well, because I don't have a diet one and I want to have a diet one because I mentioned eggs, but intermittent fasting, this will all tie together. So essentially, if you can stop eating processed foods, it's going to help you. Eating single ingredient foods is really going to help you. So like, eat an apple, eat butter, eat cheese, those are kind of processed foods, but those are lightly processed foods. They differentiate and they call them ultra processed now. So like flour, they bleach the fuck out of it, so it has infinite shelf life because it's not alive anymore. So then the closer your food is to alive, the better it is for you. All this different stuff, blah 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 blah. And there's the never-ending debate between all the different food people. There's like the keto people, there's the paleo people, there's the Mediterranean people, there's the vegans, there's the vegetarians. Well, there's not really vegetarians anymore. If I was going to jump into a camp of the healthiest diet, I would probably say vegetarian is probably near, because you can eat animal products like eggs and cheese and milk, and that would pretty much satisfy all your needs without having to deal with the moral dilemma of killing animals. I know there's immoral practices going on with factory farming, even with whatever, but that is neither here nor there. Sorry. Anyway, so back at it. Diet is going to very just cutting down on as much processed food as possible is going to help you out a lot. I should have put that on there too. I got a bunch of other stuff pouring in right now, like electrolytes. This is also diet. Electrolytes are going to increase the amount of capability you have as a person. Your brain is a battery, and a battery needs electrolytes to fire synapses off, because that's how your brain operates. So if you don't have electrolytes, you're literally lowering your IQ points. There's other ways that you lower your IQ points, but we'll get there too. But one of the biggest ones that I've noticed in my own personal time, and I know that most Americans eat like I do, and the modern diet sucks, and people don't think about electrolytes that much. They don't seek them out. And there is certain electrolytes in your food, like potassium is very common in like milk, or a lot of different like pastas and shit like that, or electrolytes all around us. If you eat like animal tuna has some good electrolytes, eggs has electrolytes and stuff like that. But if you're not actively seeking out electrolytes, you're not getting your daily values. So your selenium, your choline, I think it's called, potassium, sodium, calcium, phosphorus, I think is one of them, zinc. There's a whole plethora of them that like you need to like for your brain to function effectively. So now intermittent fasting here too. So your brain, one of the problems that the body has in the modern diet is we've never had this much abundance in human history. So what happens, it causes a lot of issues which slow people down, is just like you're stuffing your digestive, you're never giving your digestive tract a break. So you're putting food into it, but there's never ever a cycle where your body can like truly rest, like the digestive tract can truly rest and finish moving the junk out. Like say, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here, this isn't like I'm not like a scientist or anything like that, so just take that, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, it's just stuff I've read. But like one of the things that happens, like for instance, if you drink alcohol and then you like one of the things your digestive tract will do, if you drink alcohol and then you eat, your body will like change all the food into fat just to deal with that later, so it can deal with the alcohol. But then like you never give your body a chance to deal with that fat because it's immediately filling it with another meal when you get up the next day. So intermittent fasting gives like your body a chance to like regulate itself better, get food dealt with, deal with fat cells, getting waste like I know like poisons and waste products, your body will store certain like poisons or heavy metals and stuff, I'm pretty sure, in fats. And if I'm wrong, please correct me down in the comments. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember all this rapid fire, and it's just from a bunch of reading and research and stuff that some of it might get jumbled up, so just keep that in mind. But intermittent fasting essentially effectively allows your body to better regulate its digestive tract, so you just don't get bogged down. But then the other thing I want to talk about is that your brain, this is all about brain function, because at the end of the day you don't need a lot of physicality to operate on RuneScape very well, but you do need massive brain function. So your brain, when you eat a meal, and this is just an estimate, okay, rough estimate, when you eat a big meal, the blood that goes to your brain to think and have thoughts and to like execute decisions and do all that different type of stuff, it slows down by like 30% when you put a meal into it. So if you can like wake up, and this may be a little extreme for some people, but I saw this from a Brazilian jiu-jitsu expert guy, or not expert, but a champion. He does like one meal a day. So he'll eat all of his calories in one meal, and it's so, I used to do it for a while, and I was able to cut like 15-20 pounds doing that and eat whatever the fuck I wanted. I would sit down and eat like 7 hot dogs or 5 brats or like 4 McDoubles, or like one time I bought there was like this family meal deal for Burger King, and I ate the whole meal myself. It was something like 2 Whoppers, 3 cheeseburgers, and then like 5 sets of fries, and I just sat down and just wolfed the whole motherfucker down because I love to eat. And like that was the problem I was having, is that like as I was getting older, my metabolism was slowing down a little bit, so that the massive amount of foods, like I'm on an endless pit, and I'm not like joking when I say that. So that was one way for me to control myself, was using just making a rule 1 meal a day. But then the other thing I noticed is that when I woke up, yes, I was a little bit irritable all day, but I was like laser focused. And then when I noticed when I ate the meal, I would turn into my IQ points would drop by like 50, and I would pretty much pass out and just become like a dumb, whatever, dumber, slower, less reactive, less caring, all that other stuff. So intermittent fasting is going to be a way for you, do 10 hours, do 12 hours, if you can't have less than 3 meals a day, just get rid of snacking. You know what I mean? Just reduce the amount of food frequency that's going into your body so that you don't pull resources away from your brain into your stomach. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the idea here. And it is S tier because this is mucho for energy levels, like mucho grande, super duper mega energy levels will go up if you could just stop eating throughout the day, like stop grazing like a cow. You know what I'm saying? Like cows don't really ever move around. They don't run around. They don't do nothing really. They do sometimes, but they're not like rambunctious, like crazy animals. They just sit, graze, and chew and eat all day. That's essentially what you're doing to yourself when you're just eating, like, especially high grain or high ultra processed foods and stuff like that, because your body has to deal with it. And it's like, okay, shut everything else down. We got a bunch of fucking bullshit that just came in. We got the, whatever. DoorDash is here again. We got to shut everything down. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like sounding the alarms. But anyway, so I'll just stop rambling about that. Next thing up is going to be what the fuck did I put Discord for? Oh, Discord groups. Sorry, yeah, be in communities. That's pretty, B tier, A tier, whatever. So this is kind of like pick your circle. So if RuneScape's important to you, don't talk. Well, I mean, okay, I'm not gonna prescribe that to people. Like, if this is just, so let's just be, like a little thing you could do to like increase like what you're into, anything you're interested in. So RuneScape, just surround yourself with like-minded people. So get into a group that's active and not just like a group that's about, what I mean? Because on Discord, I've gone into groups that are like, 10,000 people, and there's no real camaraderie. At least for me, I don't know. I always feel like kind of an outcast myself all the time. So like, find yourself a group of guys that you can just talk to and obsess about RuneScape together, because then that's going to keep your mind on RuneScape, and that's going to, if you're always thinking about RuneScape and you're always talking to people about RuneScape, you're going to be wanting to do better at it. So it's going to push you further than you would before. You know what I mean? That's kind of the idea here. Get obsessed with it. And I'm giving you permission here, and I don't know who needs to hear this or if that's too cringe to say, but get obsessed with RuneScape. There's worse things to be obsessed with. You know what I'm saying? You could be obsessed with crack. You know what I'm saying? And no offense to crackheads or anything like that, but like, there's worse things to be addicted to. You know what I'm saying? I think RuneScape's really good for a lot of different reasons. It's super good, but just getting into a community just of like-minded people for whatever your interests are. But most, RuneScape, it is very, very effective. So, who you choose to be your friends, they literally have a part of they live in your mind. You know what I mean? Their opinions, their judgments, their what's okay, what's not okay, and stuff like that. So like, use that knowledge to understand that like, the more close you get to people that aren't like that interested in a RuneScape, I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that, but if RuneScape's important to you, that it's going to just kind of like stifle any like obsession that you want to have. You know what I'm saying? But if you get a bunch of people who are all on the same page and stuff like that, all have the same ideas and shit like that, and I know that ventures into like echo chamber shit, but like, again, we're not going to get political here. I'm just saying, it's good to get. It's just, that's how it works. The people who you associate with, they take up parts of your mind, and they're with you even when you're not around them, because like, you won't do things. Let's say, for instance, if you're in a group with a really high moral standard, you're not going to do things that go against that moral standard, even if they're there or not, because you don't want to do things that would make your friends upset. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so yeah. So there's kind of that. I know that was probably a little bit out there or whatever, but anyway. So we have journaling here, and these are so hard. I think they're all super important. They're all super good. So we have journaling. Or is this one journaling? One of these is journaling, and one of these is goal setting. So I think this one's probably goal setting. No, this one's probably journaling, because that looks like a journal, and this looks like goals. So goal setting will go up into S tier, and we'll just talk about journaling first. So journaling, maybe this is for me more so, because like I've come to terms with it semi-recently, that I probably have like severe ADHD or whatever, or just whatever ADHD. So like, time doesn't really exist to me. So like, if I don't journal, or if I don't like do something every day, or to have things that are external from my mind, it's really hard for me to like tether them to my memory. So journaling, and this may, it's good. I feel like it's good for everybody, just to kind of like as a reflection tool, if anything. But like journaling just every day, just to see where you're at and where you're going. It's kind of like really good for grounding yourself and getting into something, or keeping yourself in something, so that you could just know where you're at in the forest, so that you can see where you're going. You know what I'm saying? So that's what journaling does, and it's a good way to reflect, so that like, if you're heading a direction that you don't want to go, you can stop and then go a direction that you do want to go. So then that ties into goal setting. Setting goals. If you don't have a goal, you will just do. You will just go with wherever your whims go. So like, for instance, my goal to hit max plat, that dictates every single action I take. And I know I am not necessarily, it may seem like I'm not taking steps towards that goal, but I have been framed like ever since I've made this channel, everything I've ever done up to this point, everything I'm doing, because it's still a very, very major goal, will be directly on the path that I feel to reach max plat as fast as possible. Like for instance, like yes, YouTube is blah blah blah. I'm not making RuneScape videos about me playing. I'm not making accounts right now, but it's all indirectly tied to my road to max plat, because I need to use YouTube to make it my job, so I'm at my computer 24/7, and then I need to make everything that I'm doing about RuneScape and everything. You know what I mean? Like it all like is this like big master plan to attempt to be able to fit my life to be able to play like 18 hours at one point, hopefully be able to play 18 hours a day or whatever, 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, Monday through Friday. If I can make it my job, that's my best bet at getting max plat. If I don't do that, then I'll only be able to play part-time, so I won't be able to do it, because I'll either have to become Oda Block to become the best risk fighter and then go for max plat, but that will take me probably a decade of part-time. At part-time, again, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that's all because of goals. It's just made my brain like function this way. And if you don't have a solid goal that is like anchored in your spirit, like you know, like your anime hero inside your Goku, your inner Goku, the reason why you're watching animes and stuff like that, those heroes you keep appealing to, wanting to watch over and over again. And I know that's true for most of you, because we're all men, and men value honor more than anything else, which is why men watch anime and they watch cartoons and they watch the hero movies all the time, is because they want that. Okay, so anyway, so I know it's true. So if you don't have a goal, you will just move with your emotions. You will be subject to your whims. But if you have a goal, everything else will just move out of your way to get there. And then if goals, RuneScape goal, you know what I'm saying? RuneScape goals. So if you write them out, like I want to make 10 bill this year. All of a sudden when you get on RuneScape, everything you do changes. You don't just get on and do things. You get on and do things that are pertaining to your goal, or you will feel bad because you're not working towards your goal actively. So there's that S tier, super S tier. Probably the most S tier. That's probably the most S tier so far. So we have lifting weights here. And again, I want to put everything in S tier, so I will put lifting weights up in S tier. This is super good for you. Yeah, okay. So like, here's another thing that like I kind of know a little bit about, but I don't know all the particulars or whatever. And if somebody like watched this and they had any background in whatever I'm talking about, they're gonna cut me apart and whatever. Fair enough. But lifting weights. The thing I know about lifting weights that makes you better at RuneScape is that, like, you know, activity. They always say like do activity because you'll be healthy, but they never tell you why. A lot of the reason why like lifting weights. The biggest thing I've noticed, it gives you energy. You just get more energy lifting weights and like doing it. Yeah, you're sore more, but as you get used to it more and more, you just have more energy. And then the other thing is that like your brain is your nervous system as well. So like when you're lifting weights and you're activating your entire nervous system and stuff like that, you're heightening the ability for your brain to work more effectively. So that's kind of the short version there. So lifting weights is super important. What I recommend is doing a 5x5 strong lifts. That's the workout I do. That's the workout that I've gotten to crazy lifts that I've never gotten before. I've PR'd all the time doing 5x5. Every time I'll injure myself and then start it over, and then I'll get up to a new PR all the time. And it just works. 5x5 strong lifts, look it up, whatever. I could do a video on that sometime. Whatever. I'm going to start up a fitness channel eventually and just talk about that, because it's pretty much my Bible. But anyway, so lifting weights, definitely an S tier. Running is definitely an S tier as well. And I'm going to put it ahead of those two, because I feel like running is one of the hardest things for the human to do. It sucks. It just keeps sucking. It doesn't get like that much better. There's only certain parts of it that like feel good, and then you know, the runner's high that you get, but that blissful moment, you're hunting for it the whole time while you're running. But you know, this is mostly to do with your heart, and then you know, good blood flow, VO2 max, that type of stuff. There's a million different things that running gives you for like really, really good cognitive ability, and it's just, it keeps your heart young, it keeps your body flowing good, it gets the when you're running, your body needs more blood, and it needs so it increases your blood supply in your body, so then it increases the blood supply that goes to your brain, so it's like a direct cognitive enhancement just from running. So again, you can 5x5 this. What I used to do when I first got into running is I'd get home from work and I'd run 5 seconds in the yard, and then the next day I got home from work, I'd run 10 seconds, and I would just add 5 seconds a day. But now I'm doing kind of more crazy shit, because it's just the way my brain is, so then I have to do things a little bit more weird and wild than other people. So dude, everything on this list, this is gonna mostly be S tiers today. So anyway, so sleep is going to be, this is one thing, you cannot cheat sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things that you can have, and this is for brain function too. If you do not REM sleep, your brain does not clear the cortisol from your brain. Your brain does not get a bath, so then if you don't clear the cortisol over and over again, you lower your IQ. If you're sleep deprived, I forgot what statistics or whatever I was reading or whatever, but if you essentially like wake up with like 2 less hours to sleep, you're essentially driving on the road buzzed, like when you're going to work or whatever. So people who are asleep is like dangerous on the road, or people who are sleep deprived are like as dangerous or more dangerous than people who are drinking and driving or driving drunk, because there's a difference. Anyway, so sleeping is super, super important. You cannot cheat sleep. I've tried to cheat sleep my entire life. Think of this and that, you think you're just going to grind out 2 more hours, but the best thing you can do for yourself is have a consistent sleep schedule, which I fucked mine up today because I put off doing this tier list video, but I need to stick with my goals. Again, that's why goals here, number 1. I need to post 1 time a day, but anyway, sleep is going to be something you cannot cheat. If you cheat sleep, you're normally at a 10. Your first day where you cheat sleep, you'll be at a 9, you won't notice it, but it will compound and compound and compound, and you have to sleep to function at your highest capability. So it is just super, super, super important. Pomodoro technique. I'm going to put this in A tier, and this is essentially a tactic. Like this is I know I'm going to talk about ADHD all the time, but like this is really, really a good tactic for people who are like easily distracted and can have poor impulse control, or people with ADHD, things like that. Pomodoro, it's essentially where you like set one simple task. You're going to do one simple task, like I'm going to woodcut. And if you're always going to get distracted by something and you like have a really hard time starting, one thing you could do is like, okay, so like when you got the endless task of things that are piling up in your brain, you just pick one of them, just make that a goal. I'm going to pick one of these things. What am I going to do? Like you can write it down, woodcut. And then because it's going to be hard for you not to get distracted because YouTube's going to be open, you're going to want to pick a video and stuff like that, you will set a timer, and then you will make a rule for yourself that you will literally do nothing but stare at that tree and cut the wood for 25 minutes. And then like it'll help if you have the timer right in front of you so you can watch it count down so that your brain knows that this is actively something that's super important to you. And then after 25 minutes goes off, you hear the alarm, another external signal for your brain, so it helps you like with impulse control, and then you force yourself to take a 5-minute break. Okay, so then 5-minute break, you can put a reward at the end of it, so you can get yourself like a sandwich or a piece of pizza or something like that. That's usually what they say. It's just it's a decent technique for you to get things done. It's how like I get work done or whatever. I have like scripts and shit. Now I use like whiteboards and stuff to help me create workflows and do all this other stuff. And there's a bunch of different these types of tactics I use to get stuff done. And Pomodoro goes hand in hand with that. I like to try to tap into a flow state and then hyperfixate on one thing so that I can just pull 12-hour shifts on one thing at a time. But whatever, Pomodoro is pretty effective. It will help you with RuneScape because like I get like, I know this is kind of like, that's probably an important one to talk about because a lot of people, I see a lot that people are like, I'm standing at the bank standing and wasting XP waste, all this different type of stuff. At the end of the day, like it doesn't matter like what is the best thing to do. At the end of the day, the fact is you need to be making a decision. Make a decision to do something, because if you don't make any decision, then none of the decisions matter that you make if you don't make a single one. So Pomodoro helps you push through that. Just pick one thing, do it. It'll establish a flow state. One more thing. I know I'm rambling about it, but this is just kind of the stream of consciousness that I'm on. But so like when you could break that initial hurdle of like being paralyzed from not knowing what to do by doing something a few times, you'll get into a flow state and be able to then like just tap in and then hyperfixate on that these goals and activities that you'll have the momentum and you'll be able to carry it and go and actually get a lot of stuff done. So Pomodoro helps you break through that whatever. So, and then Starcraft Brood War. Okay. People, this is my tier list. People won't agree with me, but where am I gonna put this? Where am I gonna put this? I know it's an S tier. It's ahead of weightlifting, I think. It's ahead of internet fasting. So, okay, Starcraft Brood War. I love this game. What I'm going to say about it is going to probably not convince anybody to start playing it. But Starcraft Brood War, if anybody wants to get better at RuneScape, like especially PK, I've noticed is like a lot of. Again, I'm gonna name drop. I'm gonna glaze Odeblock all the time. Any PKer, I don't normally watch other PKers, but Odeblock, he has a very high thing called actions per minute. He's clicking, and to get used to that, I'm not good at PKing, so again, but I can do a lot of actions in a minute. Sorry, that didn't make much sense. Okay, let me try again. Starcraft Brood War requires you to have 200 to 300 plus actions per minute for you to play at a competitive level. Like the barrier to entry to the high-level tournaments in Starcraft Brood War is minimum 300 actions per minute. That is a lot of minutes. That is 5 actions per second. And it's not just clicking or whatevering. It's 5 tangible actions in a second. And you got to do that 300 actions per minute. Okay? So I play Starcraft Brood War. I'm bad. But I play at about 160 to 180. And it does carry over to RuneScape. And it allows me to, because I multi-scape. So it allows me to be able to handle high workloads. Like managing all of the accounts. Comes a lot of it from Starcraft Brood War because you have to develop. Starcraft Brood War is a real-time strategy game where you have to start an economy really fast, use that economy to build troops, scout your opponent. While you're scouting your opponent, you have to like try to counter what they're building, build troops for it, and then each of your troops you can only control a small group of them at a time, and you have to sit there and fight their army while also maintaining your base, your economy, and stuff like that. And while they're attacking you on the front, they're maybe hitting you from the back or dropping behind your enemy lines or doing some sort of sneak attack and shit like that. It requires you to have like laser sharp focus. It really is mentally draining. You have to do you have to manage a million different things at the same time, and that is what effectively allows me to multi-scape so much and be able to handle managing 782 accounts without needing to bot or anything like that, because I do it all the time. And it comes directly from the huge workloads for me trying to become a better Starcraft Brood War player. So if you want to be able to like become a better PKer by getting used to doing more actions per minute, if you play Starcraft Brood War and try to get good at the game, it will directly influence your ability to play RuneScape with a higher level. It'll help you with tick manipulation. It'll help you with resource management, or managing multiple accounts. It'll help you PK. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. So there's my list. Hopefully that wasn't way too out there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, check out the links down below. Smash that like button. Check out some other videos, whatever. Join the Discord, whatever. See you later, and see you tomorrow.